Welcome to Single Page Saturday Sketch Challenge. This is our last month. We've been doing it every month since May. And so here is today's sketch challenge. And I have pictures in mind. I just don't have them with me. So I think I'm going to be adding some very old vintage photos later. But I wanted to make a Christmas layout with you. I'm going to start with a sheet of basic white cardstock. That will be my base. On top of it, I would like to put a piece of this Traditions of Christmas DSP. I love how bright and I love the gold foiling on it. Can you see all of that dancing around? And they have beautiful prints on the back as well. So I'm going to be cutting this, and I want to cut it on a diagonal. Now, obviously, a 12 by 12 paper cut diagonally is much longer than 12 inches. In fact, it's close to 17 inches. So what I have done here is I'm on a self-healing mat. I'm going to try to secure this down a little bit on the corners that I'm not cutting with some Post-its that are super sticky, and see if that will kind of hold it in place so that I can cut corner to corner. And when I do this, I love to start with a metal ruler, because when I have used plastic ones, I've actually sliced through my plastic rulers, and that's not good to slice into those. So I kind of line up my corners as best as I can, and I take an X-Acto knife. This one happens to be from my stash, and it was with close to my heart, but whatever X-Acto knife you have will work just fine. And I do it in short little strokes. It's very important to have a self-healing mat. It's also very important to be patient with this, and you don't want any accidents because that X-Acto knife is very, very sharp. And you know, patience isn't my strong point, but I don't need to slice through my hand with an X-Acto knife today. So let's see how good my cut came through. It still doesn't look like it's all the way through. Let's see. It's apparent enough that I think I could follow it with a knife. I wonder if I need to get a sharper blade on my X-Acto knife. Usually a couple times through is enough. I'm just going to run back over my line one more time with quite a bit of pressure. I can see spots were not all the way through. Okay. Let's see if that's closer. Oh, we're getting closer. Okay, just one little bit at the end. I can cut that one with my scissors. No problem. One tiny snip, and I can even see where my line is. And we are through. Now, if I do a coordinating page, I'm going to save this because it would make a wonderful coordinating page, as you can see. So this will be the first step. Oh, let's put this guy away because I do not want any injuries. Are any of you as accident prone in the craft room as I am? Okay. And there's a little bit of rough spots on this, but I think we'll be all right. Plus, there will be spots covered by photos. This didn't have much going on in the background, so I'm going to use this sketch as like what would be more top layers, if that makes sense. So there's this. And then I want to use, I want to make something that goes all the way down here. So I'm going to get in my scrap bin here and see what I can find. I do have some glitter paper. I believe it was from Close to My Heart, that I had used it on some other project. I'm bringing in a separate trimmer for this. It's 12 inches long, but I need 17, right? So, oh, I guess I have it locked. I'm going to cut it 3/4 of an inch. And I don't know if I need 1 or 2. I might come back and have to cut another one. You want to use a separate trimmer because it really chews up your blades. Next, I want to bring in a background that has a pattern on it. And that pattern is this little circles, and between the circles where they meet, it's like a diamond. And I really like that. And I think this would be perfect for some photo mats. So, like, I want to stick with Christmas colors, but I don't want to overdo the Christmas colors. So I'm going to cut this to 6 by 8. So that I have a big enough mat that I can really see my photo. And then I'm going to cut another mat that is 4.5 by 6.5. That way I have the same amount of matting around the outside of both photos. And you can see I will be covering up some of this. I think I'm going to cut this about right here. And then I'm going to trim another piece of this glitter paper, 3/4 of an inch. I could have taken a big sheet and cut it at the diagonal, but then that really restricts me in the future with what I can do with the rest of that paper. This almost breaks my heart to put this part backwards, but it's beautiful, but you really need to have some contrast in your prints. Oh, that's not... I guess since I gave it a larger border, I need to allow less room on the sides. That makes sense. Trying to make the left and right about equal. And then I can trim off the excess from these corners. I find it easiest to do it from the back because it shows me what's truly hanging over. Okay, so I'm going to use some titles from my sticker page, and they had a title going across the top up here. The most wonderful time of the year, and I like that. And they had it overlapping both spots a little bit. So I'm going to do that. And then they had a large circle down here, and I think I'm going to choose, they have a circle here, but it's not really what I want. Let's see. I have my little tray that I'm working with for my December daily. So I have some options of some things. I really love this, I don't even know what you call it. It's like a ribbon, sort of, but not really. It has some gold. I really think something like this would look cool under the Merry and Bright. If I could pop this up. And I want to keep everything around this really bright because my pictures are not in color. They are very old photos of like my dad by a Christmas tree when he was little. And I think maybe John's grandma will be the other picture. Don't you love it when you get your hands on old vintage photos from your family? That is like one of my favorites. And I think it's because my dad's side of the family, I don't have many pictures. I have tons of pictures from my mom's side, not all vintage, but unless my childhood is now considered vintage. But not all of those are vintage. Oh, I like that. And then I'm going to put my adhesive here and here in an L. That way I can slide the photo down underneath inside there. I really like that. And then they had some journaling here. I do not have much to journal about. I don't know that much about these photos. So I suppose I will put a label with them in, you know, a year if we have anything approximating a time. But I really don't know enough information to put on for that. Okay, the next thing we're going to work on is a tag. Okay, for this next one, the tag they gave was really, really short. But I have some tags that I've been really wanting to use that are really, really long. So I'm going to try to keep some of the premise the same, but I am using a big long tab, not a short squatty tag. So these tags were left over from the Nutcracker kit. And there was like an extra of each color, and that kit is not going to be available till after the holidays, but I'm telling you, you still need to order it. It is one of my favorites. I just love it. So my son loves nutcrackers, and I don't know. I just thought it was adorable. So in the background, it had 2 elements, and I'm going to make those elements be some holly leaves. So I'm going to put a holly leaves representing each of those elements. And I have 2 different colors that I've cut them out. I believe garden green and old olive. That would be my guess. And for each of them, I'm also going to have some of these little berries. These were left over from one of my kits. I don't think it was the same kit. I'll put the last ones on in a minute. And then it had like a sentiment strip across it. So I'm going to use this Merry Christmas, and I'm going to pop it up because I think that makes pretty much a perfect little sentiment on a gift, right? I love making personalized tags for Christmas. I don't know why, but it's one of my favorites. I think I like making tags almost as much as I enjoy making Christmas cards, actually. I'm not going to make it completely cover it because it's so much larger. And then that gives me room to put some more berries down closer to my sentiment. I actually think I want this one moved over here. There we go. So Merry Christmas, and then they had a bow at the top. So this side, this ribbon is nice, but it's not shiny on both sides. So you kind of have to be careful how you use it. I'm going to adhere it with some tear and tape just because I think that will be the strongest thing to adhere it with. And there's my tag. And for the card, they show like a tag with some maybe string around it and some little elements and probably a sentiment. So what I'm going to do is come back with that glitter paper and put that down. It is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So it will leave 1/16 of an inch around the edge of my card, just the tiniest bit around that card. And instead of a tag, I'm going to use this as my element. It is cut out from the DSP with some of my thin cuts that came with the Traditions of Christmas, the whole suite. And then let's get a little bit more of this on the back. Oh, isn't that pretty? I kind of like that. So pretty. But I want to make sure there's enough grip behind it. Kind of wedging this between the other ones. Pretty, pretty. And then for my little extra elements, I'm going to use some of these pine branches that are cut out of a very, very light color. I'm going to try a wet adhesive with this, the adherent to that glitter paper, since that's just a little bit more tricky to put down. Oh, that holds good. Then I'm trying to decide if I want it popped or not. I think I need another little dot under this bow to hold it up. There's my card. Look how pretty. So we have our layout, a tag that is much more elongated, and my card. Let's stamp a sentiment inside that card. Makes it a lot faster to send them out when they already have the inside sentiment. And there we go. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crafty inspiration.